What's up, everybody? My name's Chance. Today we're going to be diving into another budget-friendly free-to-play deck, however you want to call it. It's going to be an Azorius Flying Party deck that is messing stuff up in Mythic. And I got to say, this deck is really fun to play. It's really fun to navigate. And if you enjoy the tempo-y style decks, this is right up your alley. So, diving on into it, we have 4 copies of Kitesail Cleric. This is going to be our Cleric card. We have 3 copies of Rogues here. You'll notice that we end up getting down all of the... Actually, I think we end up getting down all party members, which is really nice. Anyways, it doesn't really matter because we don't have a full party style effect in the deck, but it does end up boosting or reducing things later, as you'll see. So, Kitesail Cleric, 1 mana for a 1/1 flyer. Really nice. Merfolk Windrobber, same thing, 1 mana for a 1/1 flyer that can be sacrificed and you can draw cards with it later in the game. Dauntless Unity is going to boost up all of your flyers. We've seen this before where you get down a bunch of flyers and you use, some kind of general boost on them and then swing all in, yada yada yada. Dauntless Unity is that new card. 2 mana instant speed, kick it out for 2 additional. All your creatures get +2/+1. Emeria Takedown is going to be some nice removal while also being a land. Faerie Vandal is going to be your flying rogue. Also get to put a +1/+1 counter on it whenever it enters the battlefield. Or, I'm sorry, whenever it enters the battlefield. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, right? Lofty Denial is going to help you in those situations where your opponent's playing those cards you just absolutely don't want them to get off, right? Whether it be removal or board wipe or exile or whatever. Watcher of the Spear is going to make all of your flying creatures cost 1 less. Also, it's a wizard, so it fits perfectly into the party aspect. And it gets +1/+1 whenever you play another flyer, so great damage. It's only uncommon, all that other stuff. Cloudkin is another wizard, 3 mana for this 2/1. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Great, works well with Faerie Vandal. It's a 2/1, solid stat line. Winged Word is going to allow you to draw 2 additional cards with a low cost of 2 mana as long as you have a flyer. Your deck's filled with flyer, blah, 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 blah. Your deck is filled with flyers. It's a great card. Very efficient. Linvala is going to be the rare card that I recommend you add into the deck if you have rares to spare, right? 3 mana for this 3/3 Flying Angel Wizard. 1, it's an angel, really cool. 2, it's a wizard, which plays into the party aspect. And then furthermore, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, you can choose target non-land permanent opponent controls until your next turn. It can attack, block, or activate its activated ability. So if you select a Planeswalker, it just doesn't get to do anything, right? Furthermore, you can sacrifice Linvala, choose Hexproof or Indestructible, and all your creatures gain that ability, which is really good, again, to avoid those board wipes. Emeria Captain is going to be our Flying Warrior. 4 mana for this flying vigilance and enters the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter for each creature in your potty. For each creature in your potty. Generally, this will end up coming down in the very least as a 3/3, right? Because it comes down as a 2/2 just playing it. So 3/3 with flying vigilance for 4 mana, really good stuff. Gust of Wind, 4 mana for the sorcery that I feel like is a little slept on. Sure, we have Enter the Rule or something like that. It's the blasting blue one that allows you to bounce your opponent's non-land permanents and its instant speed. I think that is good. I think this one is a little bit better in this certain deck. Not in all Azorius, but in this flying deck. So 4 mana, the spell costs 2 less if you control a creature with flying. Again, we have a ton of those, so essentially costs 2 mana. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand, and you draw a card for 2 mana. That's hard value to beat. That's great tempo and hard to beat. Journey to Oblivion. This is going to cost 1 less for each creature in your party, and it's going to allow you to exile stuff until it leaves the battlefield. So, again, you'll end up casting this down generally for like 2 to 3 mana, which is like a Banishing Light, right? But the nice thing is you can get this down for even cheaper than that, and so that's why we play it. Angel of Destiny is the mythic that I recommend you play if you want to play a mythic. It's a cleric, so it adds to the party, has flying double strike, and it allows you to stay healthy, as well as have an alternate win con, right? Gagglemaster is going to be another warrior flyer for us. 5 mana. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you're going to gain 2 life for each creature you control with flying, and it's also a 4/3 flyer, so solid stat line. McKinley Stampede, going to be a land, +2/+2. Great way to finish out the game. And then last but not least, Spoils of Adventure. This card, I go back and forth on it. Sometimes I have bad luck, and we all do. So I cut it down to 2. I would honestly like to run 3 copies of this card in this deck, as I believe it can support it. 4 mana, draw 3 cards, gain 3 life at instant speed. I mean, we have Into the Story, which is 4 mana, draw 4 cards. That's it. This is 4 mana, draw 3, gain 3 life as well, as long as you have 2 creatures in your party, which again, generally you should, right? We have a fair split of clerics and rogues and wizards down in the bottom end, and then in the top end we have warriors. So you should generally at every point in the game be able to have at least 1 or 2 of them, and then of course this reduces it down to 4 or 5 costs. And then anything over that, 3 mana, draw 3, gain 3, beautiful. 2 mana, draw 3, gain 3, even better. So really good card. I would like to play 3 copies. I would like to say that 3 copies is worth it. I just don't know right now with the way that meta is with so much removal in it. Anyways, this was a super fun, super free, right, budget deck, free to play Flying Party. Not only do you get to play the party aspect, you get to play flyers, which means you get to be evasive. It was doing some work in Mythic, which means you know it's good. And now we're going to hop into some matches so you know how to play it. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like down below, comment in the comment section, and of course, if you want to answer the daily questions, or if you have any suggestions or questions or whatever that may be. Be sure to leave a subscription if you want to see more content here from the channel, or you just want to support it for free. Hit that bell icon that pops out afterwards, as that's super important to me personally and YouTube, so they know that you actually want notifications from the channel. There's a Discord link in the description. Highly recommend you go check that out. And last but not least, if you're looking to catch us play these decks live, hop over to twitch.tv/DrSpelkin and toss a follow. Also, if you want to see access to our members-only draft videos, join up our YouTube channel membership program, whatever it is. There's a little join button down beneath each and every video. If you click on it, it'll give you a full list of details as to what you can gain with joining up. I think the cheapest one is like $1.99, which is like, it's pretty good. And if you're into draft and all that kind of stuff, it's, in my opinion, worth it. Anyways, all that being said another way, let's hop into the match. Artie Petro? Not quite sure. Anyways, we'll put the Merfolk Windrobber down, right? Gust of Wind could be good here, depending on what they Oh, is this a colorless deck? It appears just maybe. Just maybe. I actually think getting down Stampede here as a tap land's probably better. Just drawing lands, no biggie, no biggie. We don't care too much about the mill, but you know, if we can get them a little mana screwed by milling them some lands, I won't complain. So it's not completely colorless. They do at least have blue mana here. Obviously, we're looking for some more party members. Skyclave Relic. Oh, I do like to see that. Let's go for the Gust of Wind on it. Lofty Denial. Oh, that would be nice if we could have 1 more mana and then we could, you know, counter their Skyclave when they go to replay it. As we know they will. If we had additional blue mana, ooh. If we had additional blue mana, I could bounce it back and then use Lofty. We'll have to see. Oh, hey. Hey, when you ask for it, you get it, right? So let's bounce it again, then we'll use Lofty as I mentioned. More land for us. Not exactly what we wanted, but you know, I guess we won't turn it away. Mostly because we can't. Forsaken Monument. Yeah, that's a big counter. That's a big hell to the no. Alright. It's just like a great card. Great card. Alright, so we're up to 5 mana, which means we do have enough for Spoils of Adventure, which is good. You know, gain life, draw cards. We have enough for Shepherd. We have enough for Cloudkin. First and foremost, we're going to swing in with Merfolk Windrobber. I think we should go for the Spoils of Adventure here. Instant speed, right? Although, what if they have counter magic? Have we seen any so far? No. Doesn't mean they don't have it. If I jam it sorcery speed, we might regret it, but we don't have anything else to play in speed. Let's just jam it. Let's just slam a jamma. Alright, cool beans. So got another Journey to Oblivion. A lot of A lot of our removal showing up here. A lot of removal in our top end. Would like to see my bottom end. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. Skyclave Relic, but this time they're kicking it. This time they're kicking it. Can we bounce it? No, I can exile, but it's going to cost us. Can exile, but it'll cost us. If I do this, it'll reduce Journey to 3, which means we can do this plus Journey. I think we should do that. Opponent has 1 mana available. Comes down perfectly fine. Draw another card, and it's another land. Journey to Oblivion will come down. We'll take out their Skyclave. If we go for the Maze Mine, they just tap it and, you know, perfectly fine. This way we'll get rid of some of their mana. Oh, they had another... Oh, goodness. They were planning on ramping. I have a feeling they play Yugen, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I actually have enough for Yugen, which is unfortunate, but we do have Journey. If Yugen does come down, we can immediately exile it, right? More blue mana never hurt anybody. We can get down a Cleric, which will heal us for 6, or we can get down Gagglemaster, which will also heal us for 6, but will allow our hero to heal us for 8 come next turn. Actually, it's the same, right? Either way. Alright, well, let's get you down, because you deal more damage, and, well, I'd like to win this game. We'll leave up Lofty Denial. We can use Journey, but again, I don't think we really need to right now. Only costing 2 mana, though, is really, really nice. But we have 29 health. I think we'll be alright for the time being. Milling them another card. We're almost to the point where Windrobber can draw us a card. Alright. Solemn. Solemn we can't counter because they still have 4 mana left after that. Also, we don't really care about Solemn. We mostly want to make sure that we're countering the Yugen or board wipes, I guess, right? Things of that nature. I think we can counter it into the rule. It does draw them a card, and they just spent all of their remaining mana for it, so it's like, yeah. Now we have 8 points of damage on board. If we give all of our creatures +2, that's how much? 7, 9, it'd be 6, 4. Not quite enough, right? No, yeah, it would be. So if we could get one of our boost spells here, that'd be kind of nice. Haven't seen one so far. Resolve. Oh, okay, they gained some life. We could use Merfolk Windrobber to draw us a card, but I think it's better left in as a party member, right? And then we draw another rogue anyways. Alright, so Shepherd is going to allow us to heal, and then we can get down Journey for some more removal for the 1 mana. Oh, talk about efficient. Talk about efficient. So what do we want to exile here? Probably the Myriad Construct, right? And then swing all in. Do have lethal on board now. All right, 4, 10 there. Oh, 7, sorry, and then 3 is 10. So perfect lethal as it is. If they have some board wipe, that's fine. We can play down Faerie Vandal, then draw a card with Cloudkin, which means we'll have a little bit of damage. We can also draw a card with Windrobber, so we wouldn't be losing everything necessarily. They're going to return these 2 cards to our hand. I say we play Faerie Vandal, sacrifice Windrobber. Emeria Captain, that's interesting. Alright. Then they get a scry to draw 2. They'll have 2 mana left over afterwards. We have a rogue, wizard, and warrior down. We're missing a cleric. Right, Shepherd of Heroes was our cleric. It's a little unfortunate because Emeria Captain come down with that much extra damage would be nice. Alright, Winged Words is really good, allows us to draw a little bit more. We're going to take them down. I think we just cast the Winged Words, see where we're at position-wise here. Another Faerie Vandal. It's good. Play down the land. Swing all in. They're down to 2 health. I think we leave everything as is pretty much, right? Let's get you down. We don't actually need to commit more to the board, but we only need 2 points of damage, which means our Faerie Vandal plus Cloudkin is enough in case they, you know, Yugen us or some shit like that, right? They don't have enough counters on the Mazemon to gain life, so we don't have to worry about that. I think we might have them here. Show me what you got, Petro. Oh. Sorry, everybody. I don't know what kind of sound effect that may have made for y'all. I mean, we still have lethal on board. They only have 2 mana left after that. I think we got them here. I think they're just grasping at straws, right? They would need like 2... They would need 2 unsummons or some shit like that in order to feel okay about passing it back to us. Well, they did go up to 4 life, so I guess there's some kind of point. We'll see. We still have 24 health, which is, in my opinion, fantastic. They have 3 mana. A little curious. Not gonna lie, I'm a little curious as to what it could be. Instant speed is proccing it there. We're gonna draw a card here, which means no matter what they bounce, unless they bounce 2 things, we should be a-okay, right? So let's swing all in. We'll see where we're at. I guess we should have played down this other Faerie Vandal before we drew a card, but whatever. Shark Typhoon, only going to be able to block 1, which means this is still going to be a GG, right? They were banking on that Faerie Vandal not being able to gain an additional counter, but alas, we got there. Bam. Coming in at the 0. Saul Samuel, by the way, going to be our foe for the day. Took the first mulligan. We'll keep 6 here. I almost want to just put back the Dauntless Unity. But man, it's really good at hitting. Like if we can go into this and then hit them with Dauntless, that would be really good on turn 4. I'm going to put back a land and play risky. Play for the risky business. Now we're going for the turn 2 Watcher instead of the turn 1 Kitesail. Well, actually we can't go Kitesail on turn 1, right? Because we only have the Tranquil. Anyways, opponent goes mono red for the Ginger Brew. It's interesting, and you know, we'll hope they don't have shocks. We've been seeing a whole lot of those coming down on our flyers here recently, and I'm just not the biggest fan. No Bone Crushers either, Saul, just so we're both clear on that. It's going to be a Bone Crusher, isn't it? Yeah. I tell you, you mono red people, you're very predictable, huh? Just sort of do what you do and only do that. Anyways, we'll get down Hala Hala Linvala. Don't need to sacrifice or anything. I guess we could have waited till we had a more steady board state to get down Linvala. Ah, whatever. They're just going to slam down Bone Crusher here. Oh, mono red, you predictable beast, you. So we can get down Watcher plus Kitesail, or next turn I can get down Kitesail. I like the idea of getting down Watcher here. Next turn we can go Kitesail or Cloudkin. So we have 2 wizards, we have a cleric, and another wizard over here. Interesting, interesting. Let's go for the damage for sure. If I go ahead and do this, come next turn, if we hit a land, I could go Cloudkin plus Dauntless. Yeah, you know what, let's... if I also hit a land, I could end up kicking him, but it's not... Okay, alright, that's fine. We'll just play it down like so. The additional 1 damage we won't be missing too much, right? And this way, if they remove Watcher, then we can just play down Cloudkin and all will be swell, because we'll have the Kitesail to also deal damage. Sorry, by the way, if y'all hear those semis. They like to do this thing where they get up going 65, even though speed limit's 55, and then, you know, people live on my road, even though it's a highway, so they turn to go to their houses as people do, And then the semis got to slam on their brakes because, well, they're driving way too fast. So we're going to take 7 damage here if we allow that. If I allow this, we're losing our only cleric, right? Right. We could double block into Bone Crusher, then we're only taking 4. But we're losing 2 units for the cost of 1. That doesn't necessarily seem worth. I think it's actually better if we split it. Take the damage from Bone Crusher. We're only taking... Okay, Rimrock onto the Bone Crusher. That's going to deal 2 damage to them, though, so that's good. Now, we can actually sacrifice our Linvala here and keep these 2 alive. I like the idea of that. Linvala is 3 damage, but it's the same 3 damage, right? So, Indestructible here. We'll take out their 2 creatures, leave our 2, and, of course, Bone Crusher dealt a little bit of damage to us, but that's all right. And now, look, it's immediately paying off. So, we can go Cloudkin, Kitesail, refill the board. If we can hit 1 more land, Dauntless Unity can be kicked down. There it is. So, that could actually allow us to win the game, right? Let's see. So we're going to deal 5 damage here. They're down to 10 life. This comes down and gives +2 to all of our creatures. That's going to be 4, 4, 8. Oh, yeah, that would be lethal. All right, let's see it then. Can we slam-a-jamma the lethal? So Embercleave wouldn't kill us here. It would hurt. We'd be down to 2 life, but it wouldn't kill us, and it would cost all of their mana. Now, they're looking at our side of the board and they say, okay, they have 6 damage. Not too shabby. Ooh, let's hope they don't have a bit of removal here. It's a Ginger Brute. Not enough to finish us, though, so that is going to be a GG. Beautiful. Azorius free-to-play Flyers finally picking up the victory up against Mono Red. Never thought I'd see the day, but alas, here we be. Bam, bam, kablamo. Alright, -4 actually, so we got him with a little bit extra. Mike, gonna be our next foe. We do have access to white mana through McKindy. This isn't terrible because we can get Emeria down on turn 3 because of the Watcher, right? We have Lofty for some removal, for some counter magic. Yeah, let's take it. Let's do it. So we'll play McKindy down turn 1 to go ahead and get the untapped out of the way, right? I'll go turn 2 Watcher. Hopefully, well, maybe not turn 3 Captain, right? Maybe we wait for their turn, play down Faerie Vandal. If I go Watcher, though, we could play Vandal and Kitesail within the same turn. Wait till next turn. I can play Watcher plus Kitesail. I say we go for the Watcher. Let's slam a jam it. Didn't proc on an instant, which means no shocks. Hallelujah. No bone crushers. Hallelujah. Those 2 cards have been greeting us far too often. Doesn't mean they couldn't have sorcery speed removal, of course, but you know, Soul God Lantern. That's interesting card to main board. I mean, it is. If you only run 2 copies of it, it's not a bad main board plan, right? All right, so we can play down Kitesail and Faerie Vandal for the low. Let's get down Faerie Vandal first. We'll still have mana for Lofty. I think we leave that mana for Lofty up instead of trying to jam Kitesail. I think we play a little more defensive, right? We'll get in 3 damage here. Call it a turn. Call it a turn. Solemn. They just sunk 4 mana into this. It is going to ramp them, and if it ever dies, it's going to draw them a card. But it's only 2 points of damage. We gotta let that resolve. Essentially, they're paying 4 mana to go into their library and grab 1 card. The creature we don't care about. We're simply trying to swing in, deal our damage, you know, wham bam, thank you ma'am sort of stuff. We go for the Kitesail here, so again, we have mana for the Lofty. Kick it? No. There's no reason to kick it. Don't go around kicking stuff you don't need to. That's just rude. That's just rude and wrong. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get in for 4 damage here, put him down to 13. Doing a number on him. Doing a number on Mike here. Also still have mana for counter magic, which is probably the best and most important aspect of all this. So they're up to 2, 6. Chandra, can't let that happen. That is a good one. That's a good one that gives them access to more good stuff. Mike, they've seen enough. Our Azorius Flying Party deck is picking up another victory, and we're back up to 95%. Sir Crocodile, I like that name, and I like this hand even more, so we're going to keep it. We'll go for the turn 1 Windrobber. Turn 1 Windrobber, then we'll go for the turn 2 Watcher, I think. Keep up mana for Lofty Denial and Faerie Vandals following that. Or do I just... No. I could not be greedy, you know, and like just leave mana up for Lofty Denials and whatever. It's a Rakdos mid-range deck, huh? Or it's Rakdos something. I suppose it could be more colors, could be Jund, but we'll have to see for right now. Grixis, interesting. Robber of the Rich, it's Grixis Rogues, everybody's favorite, am I right? Anyways, we'll swing in for the 3 damage. We're going to leave you back, Faerie Vandal. I hope you can understand, but that Lofty Denial up against this Grixis Rogue is going to be pretty awesome. So no black mana still. They're going for the Relic Robber. I don't think so. Not on my watch. Lofty Denial. Key card here. Very awesome. We're up to 4 mana, which means I could slam a jam a Gagglemaster. Instead, we'll slam a jam a Faerie Vandal, okay? Slam a jam a Faerie Vandal. Bam. Thank you, ma'am. Milling out some good stuff from them here. Happy to see it. We still have another Lofty, which means we can deny them of 1 more spell. We have 4 points of damage on the board, puts them down to 8. What do I want to draw here? We don't mind them doing this. And of course, they have such an abundant hand because they can't hit the black mana that I'm assuming they need. There's nothing they can really do. So we go for the winged words here. They may have some counter magic. If they do counter winged, we just let it happen. We don't get into a counter war over drawing some cards, right? They didn't, and we got it off. And there's a Gust of Wind. That's really good too. So we'll throw this down. We'll swing all in. We're going to deal 5 damage instead of 4 now. Put them down to 7. Gust of Wind on our next turn could allow us to deal 6 points of damage, right, with the Faerie Vandal. Brazen Borrower, do we counter that? I don't think so, actually. It's not even on our Watcher, so we can very easily just, yeah, slam this right back down. Now, if they go for the counter magic, maybe? No, I don't think so. Get that double Borrower madness out of here. So they are down to 8 life. They have 6 cards in the graveyard. They can play Brazen down instant speed, but that does require that they leave back 3 mana. Of course, we can Gust of Wind. Unfortunately, Gust of Wind is not instant speed, so we can't do that in response to them playing Borrower, which is probably the most unfortunate thing, right? They're going to leave Robber back as defense as well. So first and foremost, let's Gust of Wind the Robber. Actually, probably first and foremost should have been the Emeria Captain in case they have an answer for the Watcher, right? That's fine. E.T.'s fine. Journey to Oblivion, not going to be instant speed, but something we definitely probably want to keep mana up for, right? So here's what we do. We swing all in knowing very well that they're going to use the Brazen to block. They're probably going to block the Faerie Vandal. Yeah? So that will sort of deal with itself, and then we'll play down the Captain, which won't actually lose a counter because we still have a Rogue on the board, right? So, all's well that ends well, right? Now we got a 4/4. We got enough damage basically to finish them. All right, 7 points of damage, flying high in the sky. They do have a Robber they can play down, plus 3 additional mana after that, so they could have some blockage. But we do have the Journey to exile the Robber. So it'd need to be like Robber plus removal or Robber plus counter magic, right? We'll see. We shall see. They have Thieves Guild, they have Borrowers. They seem to be very creature heavy, so I almost wouldn't put it past them to have another Brazen Borrower, right? Almost wouldn't put it past them. They have 3 mana. How many have we? We've only seen 2 borrowers so far. Curious. Very curious. Alright, so you're a warrior, so actually playing Gagglemaster. But it does still make sense, just in case they have removal for the Watcher. So we'll get down the Gagglemaster. They're going to bounce the Captain. They're going to botch? They're going to bounce the Watcher. They're going to remove the Watcher. Interesting. Alright, so you still come down, still heal us, whatever, yada yada yada. Oh, we can't pay that now because they removed that, right. Alright, so we can still swing in. You don't really need to, but we'll swing with the 4/4. They have to block with the Robber. So they're left with 2. No. Well, you got balls of steel. Wow, them removing that Watcher actually really hurt us with the Journey to Oblivion Wombo combo. Also, they don't have a borrower, or at least they didn't, right? Probably trying to figure out how to stay alive here. They have 2 cards in hand. We know if they pass it back to us, they have to have something that gives them a glimpse of hope, which would probably mean some removal. Cling to dust. Okay, so they're going for card draw here. Maybe they don't have... Maybe they don't have what they want. Bum bum bum. It all comes down to this. Sir Crocodile. Awesome, that's the GG. So, Azorius Party picking up another spicy victory.